It is James with Montauk. I'm coming to you live from my phone. Um, it is September the 15th, 2023. And does anybody feel like they're winning? Like we're winning yet? Like things are changing? Like the scales are tipping? That, or maybe we're, making headway in regards to the Great Reset, New World Order, Fourth Industrial Revolution, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And, the World Economic Forum and their insidious and extremely tyrannical, authoritarian, dystopian, communistic for sure agenda upon us all. Is anybody feeling that yet? Like we're winning, like we're gaining ground, like anything's happening? Or are we just waiting for some politician to save us from this in our country? Which I've clearly stated is the last stronghold. We are the last stronghold on this planet. We're one of a very few nations that has the Second Amendment. And the Second Amendment, from my perspective, and from many, is the defender of the first. Because how can I speak freely if I can't defend my speech? Right? Speak first, shoot if necessary, later. So I'm just saying, you don't have, if you don't have, and there's no argument against this that I can tell, that I've ever heard. Nobody's ever challenged me on this, because if you can't stand your ground, which is an odd law, by the way, and defend you being able to exercise your First Amendment rights to speak freely, peaceably assemble, and, if necessary, vote from a tyrannical, authoritarian, dystopian, fascist government. The country I don't have a problem with. People get along. It's the mainstream media that creates the division. It's print media that create the division. It's trolls and tools and pawns and employees and actors that create the division. There's a lot of people out there that I have come across and been a part of through my many years on the planet that are decent, good, God or not feeling, God or not fearing people. I don't have anything against any atheists or agnostics or Judean or Hinduan or Islamic or Christian or anything. On my dog tag says I'm a Christian, so I'm basically a Christian in my opinion. I've always been around the church, and I do have conservative views and a more of a conservative background. Doesn't mean that you have to do it, and you have every right to defend your speech. But when your speech begins to, and here's where it gets wishy-washy, according to mainstream media. when your speech starts to hurt, maim, or not maim, or personally attack another person, right? That's when your speech is ridiculous. So, and I agree. I agree with the fact that, I'm not, if I'm in a debate with you or having a conversation or there's a rebuttal of some kind, and I'm bringing, my documents, my videos, my, spoken, written words by an individual or people, or through science or technology or engineering or law, constitutional law or, practiced law. And I bring that information, and then you said, well, and you say to me that I'm just a piece of shit asshole, blah, 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 blah. You're just continually, and then it just becomes slanderous. Well, then you have every right to say those words, I believe. But I also believe you have every right to respect the decency of others. Going on break. Be right back. Hang on. All right. I guess I'm still on. Had some things to take care of. All right. Um, so we're not seeing a lot of progress at all from anything or anybody. The biggest thing that just kind of happened that is getting me to do this, not really a video blog, is um, Missouri versus Biden regarding Eric Schmidt and Cassidy from Louisiana. Eric Schmidt, senator from Missouri, and John Cassidy from Louisiana, which was to make sure that the Biden administration no longer has a foothold on social media, everything. They were not, there was an injunction put in place by the courts for them to, for the Biden administration to stop, you know, rigging things and using their Orwellian Ministry of Truth process, or basically just being the authoritarian shitheads that they are. I thought that was fantastic, and that's, you know, Senator Eric Schmidt of Missouri is a beast. You know, Cassidy has his moments, of course, but this was to limit their ability to keep stifling the Biden administration's ability to keep stifling our First Amendment rights, our rights to go through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and YouTube, et cetera, and post, you know, a meme or what our conclusions, our perspectives, our documentations, our videos, things, you know, contrary to the narratives that, you know, CNN or MSNBC and even Fox does, you know, especially like PBS, Associated Press, New York Times, of course, just the most heinous and ridiculous fucking news outlet that I've ever witnessed in my life, along with the LA Times and other publications out there that are with the World Economic Forum and their agenda, with the Biden administration, the puppets of these global elitists, which I call the Pedo Predator Class. Pasta calls them the Predator Class, which they are. They're predators. They're, you know, like I've said in the past, and I'm going to keep saying it, you know, once I did all the research, found out everything was going on, I tried my hardest, and I've been trying my hardest because it gets harder and harder every time. Your channel gets taken down, and I'm on my 6th or 7th channel. I've got 8 channels, so I actually stream live on my 7th and my 8th. So 6 of my YouTube channels have been taken down basically because of my conclusions, my theories, my perspectives, people I've had on that have said certain things, but nothing hateful or personal, right? Maybe a little personal towards, Zelensky or Walensky or, CDC director, maybe a couple of personal things in regards to Fauci and like Hillary Clinton, which, a lot of people say that. And even a few things, if you look in the past, I've said a few things in regards to Trump and more recently, especially the way he handled, being fooled and manipulated by Fauci. He just won't come to terms with that. And it's going to bite him in the ass. When the Kool-Aid results, that everybody was supposed to take mandated and all that crap, when those numbers start getting worse and worse and worse, which they are, that's a talking point that DeSantis is using. Now Vivek's going to jump on that, and a few others, I'm sure. I know Christie might, but anyway, he's turned into a neo-lib. Chris Christie's just, I don't know why I even say his name. He's just fucking worthless to me. Just a putrid, giant lump of steaming pile of feces. And I've already spent too much energy on that already. It's simple. I don't think anybody's winning anything. I think we're all losing. I think we're still losing. And we're waiting for some savior to stop this puppet. Biden is probably the greatest, best, most qualified puppet, whether it's him or not, who fucking cares at this point, right? Whether it's Fetterman or not, who fucking cares at this point, right? These puppets that are out there, and there's a bunch of them too, like McConnell and Lindsey Graham and, Romney, and just so many others, the right piglicans, I call them, because they're rhino Republicans. The right piglicans, there's many of those out there. But then you have people like Matt Gaetz. At times you have Lauren Boebert. You have Major Taylor Greene putting, Chip Roy, who's putting, Donaldson, who's doing some great work out there, and a bunch of others that are, getting it. But they're just not pushing as hard as I think Matt Gaetz is and a few others against Kevin McCarthy, right, who still signs checks, helps to sign those blank checks to Ukraine, which is terrible, it's terrible. And Maui and Lahaina is being turned into a smart city, soon to be smart island. Don't say I didn't fucking warn you. Those people are getting nothing. They're being helped. The property is being stolen from them. Most certainly, the lawful government of Hawaii, which is the capital, which is Lahaina. I'm just not seeing anything moving in the direction of the 99.9%. If you're a Democrat, I just have to ask you this very simple question. Hopefully you're paying attention. So has Roe versus Wade been taken care of? No. Has anybody received single payer, universal health care, or Medicare for all? No. Has anybody received free college? No. Has anybody all of a sudden Democrats, for some reason, support a country that just a few years ago was blacklisted across social media as being complete and total supporters of the Third Reich slash Hitler slash fucking Hitler. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing that all of a sudden, because of the advertising, because of the marketing, because of the narrative, because of the talking points, which they all fucking buy into, that country is more important than our own people. I mean, we usually have on average for the past couple of decades now, 2 or 3 decades, of about 600,000 to 800,000 illegal immigrants coming into the country. Some of those are managed well, some are not. And it's it's part of coming in and working under the table in a sense for an avocado farm, like my grandfather, 29 years, almost 30. And I worked alongside many of these extremely hardworking people. I'm telling you, just not all Americans can, spend 8 to 10 hours in a strawberry field. I'm fucking telling you right now. Try picking. There's a season of picking avocados and fruit. Okay, there's a season of picking avocados and fruit that that there are millions of spiders. They're called wolf spiders, and they're as big as the palm of your hand at the least, or bigger. And if you go through the groves or just walk through them, there's just millions of spider webs. And I've been through that, picking, harvesting, doing work for many years. Good luck doing that. When these, they bounce off you, basically, they don't want to be on you. It's very rare that they're going to even attempt to bite you. But I've had on many occasions hundreds of spiders on me. Hundreds. And there's lots of things out there that a lot of Americans won't do for such little money. But right now, we have an issue where it's gone a little too far. Actually, a fucking lot too far. And we've had within the past 2.5 to 3 years, almost 10 million illegal immigrants coming into this country. And for some crazy reason, we're busing them throughout the country. It just makes no sense to me. I don't know what the fuck Greg Abbott is doing, but it's just not a good idea, dude, to bus all these fucking people everywhere. You should bus them back out. That's the usual process, right? This is an amazing amount of illegal immigrants, and then there's at least 10%. I think it's like 8 to 10% of them that are not being accounted for. All right, so that's a million fucking people that we have no idea what they are and what they're doing. And the interesting thing about all this, and I've seen video after video and information, pictures and all this other stuff, and I've researched it thoroughly, like I do. A lot of these people are of military stature as far as physically and capable wise. They're not a bunch of families just trying to escape and get into the United States. The land, bring us to your tired, you're poor, I don't know the whole thing. I'm going to admit to that. But anyway, bring us your tired, you're poor, destitute, or something like that. Anyway, and it's just not happening right now. So at this stage, and I kind of went at it with Pasta in a chat one time, and I said, dude, look, I'm not really a big guy on a fucking giant wall at the south part of the United States. I mean, why isn't there one on the north side, right? Why don't we just barricade ourselves in, for God's sakes? But there's a process to coming into the United States. You have to take a citizen's test, and I guarantee most of you wouldn't pass it. Most of the people of the United States would not pass it. Definitely people coming out of high school. within the past 2 or 3 years, 10 years. They're just, I'm just telling you. And you have to learn about the laws, the Constitution. You have to learn about the history of the United States. But some of those questions that I've gone over several times, I'm just like, that's not right. But anyway, so our history is a little off. The tests are there. There are people that are trying to get into the country to hopefully find a better way for themselves. They are getting away from, the cartels, and they're getting away from their dystopian nightmare in some of their countries. And I get that. I open my arms to people like that are trying to escape and want to help build this country, right? Or want to be a part of building this country. And I'm okay with some people coming in working under the table a little bit, for work that you aren't going to do, having 100,000 spiders all over you during the fucking day while you're trying to pick avocados or just, tangerines or whatever. Because these groves are full of them. Full of them. Fucking telling you. You don't want that fucking job. But this is out of hand. This is too much. This is wrong. So Pasta and he said, well, why should we have this? And I said, and the point I made is, I think probably the best point you could, because over the past 240 plus years, almost 250 years, the United States has been just the leader in coups and wars and our interests, for peace and freedom and democracy, all this bullshit excuse. But over the amount of time that we've been a nation, we've killed foreign and domestically over 20 million people. Murders on their side and our side, mostly on their side. The point being is we haven't made a lot of friends. I mean, we're respected because of our military. We're respected because we have big fucking guns and big fucking weapons. We're not really liked. Let's be honest here. People, I would rather have people like me for me, and if need be, then they'll respect me as they know who I am and what I'm about. But I'm not going to walk up first and point my gun at them and say, look, you guys better start fucking respecting me. I'll carry a gun, which is fine with me, but that's not how we need to be perceived as a country. Look, I want to make America great again. There's no doubt about it. There's no doubt about it. I think we all want to make America a great country. We want to make sure that this nation and its the stigma that it has right now is just bully. Let us please open our minds and our eyes to see that we have been the bullies for the past few decades like no other country has ever been. We have fucking bases all over the planet, while Russia and China has like less than 20 between both of them. We have over 800 fucking US bases across the globe, right? I get it. There's some of them are strategic. I get it. Some of them are for this and for that, but we're just so evasive. We're so, but we do it also to protect ourselves because of the shit that we do. I mean, come on. We have enemies, Mr. Pasta from Combo Couch, doing a great job on Jimmy Dore, by the way. God, that guy fucking Kurt just irks the fuck out of me. God, that guy just irks the fuck out of me. I don't think I can see the, no, I can't see it. Anyway, I don't think there's a live chat in this, but we have to now. We're just in that place where until we can make amends, until we can be seen as what we kind of used to be, of being the ethical, moral, or folkways or norms, stuff like that, where people were just like, man, I'm going to America because those are some fucking cool people. They treat everybody great. That's why I want to go to America, right? Because they're good, decent, God-fearing people. They don't get in your business, and they let you do your thing and live your life and make your money, which still happens, but not as much as it used to. This country is being, and it's very obvious, this country is being domestically imploded by the Biden administration. If you can't see that with the inflation, or in recession, in my opinion, and close to a depression. I mean, gas prices, just not needed. Food prices, it's just created. Energy prices, right? Utility prices, just fucking nuts. I mean, just a year and a half ago, wait, it was $1.71 in early 2020, 2019, gas out here in Missouri, 280. I mean 180. Now it's 359, 360. It's even gone up to like 374. Now that kind of spike is terrible. That doesn't help anybody or anything. There's a hat that I have on one of my Facebooks that I put up. It's me, make bacon 99 cents again, right? I mean, for fuck's sakes. I'm just telling you that, look, if there's a group of Democrats out there that I know of that are against the Ukraine war. They're against the inflation. They're against the gas crap. They see the scam in regards to climate change. They see the scam in regards to the environmental, social governance agenda that the World Economic Forum is. There are some people out there that understand the scam, right? Yes, there is definitely a pollution problem. You cannot mistake that. If you've been to the coast, or if you've been to a river or a lake, some of them you can't go in anymore because they're contaminated. Some, if you go there, you'll see all the plastic and all the crap that washes up. I mean, last time I was in California, there was I mean, I haven't been to California in about a year and a half, almost 2 years now. But the amount of trash, and there were millions upon, I mean, I couldn't even see. It was like a wave of N95 masks. There's fucking masks everywhere. And then there's pollution. There's all this junk. There's straws and paper lids, and some of these lids are looks like they've been, in the ocean for at least a decade. Right? There's just some stuff out there that's just not good for us. There's microfibers, right? There's radiant nuclear waste that's being dumped into our oceans, into our rivers and our lakes all the time. Fukushima Daiichi in Japan just dumped hundreds of thousands of barrels or gallons just recently. But that's happening everywhere. I mean, what they dumped is bad. What's usually dumped isn't that bad, but it's still bad. At a micro level, we start thinking how this is affecting our food, our water. How does our water and our food and our air, which is, we need to work on that too, because, I mean, I've been in LA when there's been carbon, they call them smog alerts. And the smog alerts are real. There's so much carbon dioxide in the air, you can't fucking breathe. You can't. And you see this brownness that surrounds LA, and then it drifts into the valley, and then it starts to hover over Orange County. But it's there. I've seen it, and that needs to be taken care of as well. And look, carbon dioxide the plants need. Bill Gates wants to get rid of 70 million trees. I mean, this guy's just the fucking murdering. He's the genocidal serial killer of the planet, of the people of the planet. Let's just fucking get that on the table, because this guy is just a sick man. He makes no sense at all. But he has people, and he's got money, and people keep licking his nuts, and it's just ridiculous. There's a lot of things we need to fix. Let's just cut to the chase here. There's a lot of things that aren't right. There's a lot of things that need to be fixed, and this, that, and the other thing. I'm just dumbfounded how the Supreme Court recently lifted and I'm getting back to where I was going before. I'm dumbfounded, baffled, and bewildered that the Supreme Court lifted that injunction on the Biden administration, meaning that, and this is perfect timing, because here comes the 23-24 election. So now they can go back in and start, deleting people and manipulating content and shadow banning more and more and more. So if you look up Missouri versus Biden, and Eric Schmidt is the beast that's fucking going after these fuckers, these tyrannical, authoritarian, communist bullfucks, and so is John Cassidy. You need to look at that, and you need to do whatever you can to either call. The number I always call is 202-224-3121. Speak to your senator. Speak to your House of Representative. Let them know that the Supreme Court needs to uphold our constitutional rights. Right? It's like there's a little wind there in the injunction, and things seem to be moving in a little bit better direction. And all of a sudden, the Supreme Court gets in and lifts it, right? To allow the Biden, the puppet, the pedo Joe puppet Biden dystopian, authoritarian Biden administration and their Pedo Predator Class masters to start to inflict their Orwellian Ministry of Truth processes. It's just getting out of control. It's just getting out of control. And I know you guys, Trump's going to fucking do it. Trump's going to fix this and fix that and fix this and fix that. But I don't know why he just won't take the hit for that, for his killer Kool-Aid that he put out for everybody to take. It just doesn't, but that's very alarming. And a few other things. But overall, we're just waiting. I mean, and I keep telling everybody, and that's why I created. That's why I created FTheWF.org, StopTheWEF.org, DIYLiberty.org, because I don't think we need to wait. We need to fucking get out in the masses and start protesting. Bring attention up. Protesting, what many people don't realize about protesting is that I've been in a few of them. I protested in regards to 500-gallon radiant nuclear waste being stored 100 feet from San Clemente in these containers that were just terrible. It's weird. I've been to Pig Hat, just to get my information out. I understood what they were talking about, my body, my choice. And then all of a sudden, when it came to the Kool-Aid that everybody was putting in their arms, no, my body, no choice. No body, no choice for you. Which just was crazy. But I always kept saying, and I was yelling out at that, and I've been to many, and I'm just saying, this one I yelled out, "Stop Citizens United." And many of you don't even know what that is if you're just paying to this. But if you know me and if you know this channel, you definitely know what Citizens United is. And that is the downfall. And that was created and put through, right? I think by the Supreme Court during the Obama era, when the Democrats had lots of power. They at least had, I think it was the Senate, but I don't believe they had the House at the time. And I think that was 2010 or 2011, 12, something like that. Anyway, look it up. It gives the ability for money to get just thrown at these politicians, your legislators, judiciaries, executives, governors, whoever. And it curbs their thinking and it corrupts them. And this is bad. I've always said we need to keep money out of politics. Term limits should be less, especially in the Senate and the House. I mean, I can understand 6 years, but I don't think you should live there. I don't think you should live there. And in these pensions they get afterwards, that's fucking ridiculous. And they shouldn't be able to work for the lobbyist buddies that leave. There's just so much going on with our system right now that is just extremely terrible. And it's just non-productive or helpful to the 99.9%. That's where I'm at. That's where my mind is in regards to pretty much everything. I think about us. I think about the people that are the common people, right? To Yuval Harari, who was just on Alex Friedman. Jeez, what a fucking trainer. Yuval Harari says we're all a bunch of useless eaters. Those are his own words in his own video, in his own way of thinking. We're just useless to him. And he's the right-hand man of Klaus Schwab of the World Economic Forum. And this is how this happens, is we start to believe that there's one person out there that's going to fix everything. It's going to take one person. But in this particular case, and I hope and I pray that Trump, and he does have some influence, and it's moving as his polls get stronger, which he's going to take a hit regarding this Kool-Aid man that he's had everybody take. He's going to get hit on that pretty bad. It's going to be not good. And that, DeSantis jumped in on that immediately. Others going to jump in on that immediately. So I just thoroughly and completely believe that if we aren't out there doing a million man and woman and whomever protests, this is going to continue. You guys got to get money out of politics number one. I don't know why you're fucking not, getting that out of there. These people that are in these giant palaces at our capitals, they're DMV employees. If they want to get paid more, it's responsibility. Yeah, you gotta have, definitely educated, but it doesn't seem like that's necessary anymore. You've got fucking brain dead idiots like John Fetterman. literally brain dead. We don't even know if that's him because all of a sudden he's missed all his tattoos are missing and facial structures. I don't know who the fuck that guy is. Do the research, but how in the fuck is that man anything? You know, Mitch McConnell, he's gone. That there should be an immediate, ejection seat for these people. Look, you can't show up and disrespect the capital of the United States of America or the DMV of the United States of America. You got to show up at least with a polo shirt, bro, or at least a button-up shirt. You don't have to fucking wear a tie, right? But how about some nice shoes, some slacks, and a button-up shirt? That's all you got to do, okay? Which most of them do. But you got to respect the position. This fucking clown. That is. Let's just say, for example, let's hypothetically say that the entire country is ran by people like this. How do you think this nation would turn out in the first month of their service if all the senators, all the U.S. senators, all the House of Representatives, and Congress at the Capitol of the United States all became this person, or extremely simple? Can't put together 3 words, has to, on his phone, has to take information, not video, but spoken words, and it has to be lit up on his phone for him to read it. And then he may understand it. How about we have the entire country full of these people and a bunch of Mitch McConnells, a bunch of Dianne Feinsteins everywhere, just everywhere? Is that the Democratic way? Is that what the Democrats want? Because it sure seems like that's what the Democrats want. And I've heard in the past 2 or 3 years, I have seen children, in my opinion, people that speak and discuss, or not even discuss, blurt out, I don't know if they're sentences or if they're cognitively, put together correctly in some way, shape, or form, if they're just incoherent sentences, one after another, and all these hearings with these people that are being appointed to the administration of the Biden administration and across the country. Katie Hobbs, every fucking thing she says makes no sense. You ask her a hard question, she immediately deflects, or goes in a different direction. Kind of what Trump did in regards to the Kool-Aid that he had everybody take. That he said saved 1 million lives. No kidding. Anyway, yeah, this is insanity. This is fucking craziness. I have never seen a most debilitated, retarded, and I'm going to say fucking retarded times 10 nation of derelicts, demented lunatic derelicts on the Democrat side. I've never seen that. It's just amazing. There's not too many of them that can actually rebuke or rebuttal or argue. Whether they took the fucking debate class in college or not, most of them suck at it. They don't have an argument. You're making an argument. They don't. There's just nothing there. It's a travesty. Again, why don't we have a bunch of Mitch McConnells, a bunch of Dianne Feinsteins, a bunch of John Fettermans, and a bunch of wimpy hiding in bathrooms, Katie Hobbs running the country? Is that what you guys want? And a bunch of trans military people. Is that what's going to make our country respected, strong? Is that going to do it? Because if that's the fucking world you want, you're on some serious medications, which I don't agree. You should take more medications. I don't like when people say, "Oh, you need to take your meds." No, don't stop taking your meds. This is the reason why you're fucked up, right? You know, just eat better, drink better water, eat better foods, more organic. You'll start to see a change in your mind. Right? And I brought that up earlier in regards to pollution. We should, this country, as rich as it is, should have the purest. The water should be as it was 200 years ago. That's the kind of water you want. If somebody bottled that water, I want to see what's in it. The minerals, the alkalides, the pH of it, everything. And I guarantee you it's 1,000 times better than what's coming out of your tap. And many times better than what you're buying at Culligan or fucking Primo or wherever you get your water from. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. This country deserves us, the people of the fucking world deserves it, not just this country. We deserve the purest foods, not this GMO shit and this fake meat. Bill Gates is going to make, you know, I mean, Dr. Shiva did a great show about a month or so ago, and he's done it several times, on how the process of altering the genetics of food is not good. Seedless watermelons are bad. Seeds in watermelons are good. There's a big reason for that. Natural food your body has been eating for hundreds of thousands of years. Homo sapiens, or 6,000, you know, depending on, you know, if you're how religious you are. But lard, look it up, Google it. Lard, which is grease that people used to fry their food in 30 years ago, right, had been around and being used since 250,000 BC. Look it up. Our bodies are not used to this vegetable oil. Our bodies are used to, doesn't process these processed foods. You know, corn chips used to be made from actual non-GMO, non-altered or biochemically enhanced or induced or whatever corn. It used to be mashed. And then you add something else. I'm not sure what the process was. And then you use lard. They'd fry it up, and they'd have these tortilla chips that was just amazing. You could just taste the fucking flavor and the goodness in them. They don't have that. Yeah. But, you know, if you set a hamburger out from McDonald's, it'll look the same for like a year. Take a organic meat produce and set that out. It'll get eaten up. I'm telling you, bugs won't even eat the fucking hamburger from McDonald's. You set out a real juicy fucking Angus style beef patty out on your porch. Where are the bugs going to go first? Where are the birds? Where are the animals going to go first? Are they going to choose the McDonald's hamburger, or are they going to choose the real fucking hamburger with the non-GMO tomatoes and lettuce and onions and pickles? Yeah, this whole thing is wrong. Everything has gone completely backwards, which, here it is, has to make you think, if they're not trying to protect us, help us, make us healthier, then what's the opposite of that? What is the opposite of health? Disease, right? Non-healthy. Right? What is the opposite of healthy? Not being healthy, being sick, being ill. There's a reason for this. Big pharma, big hospital, big elderly care, big psychology. That's an industry. People don't realize that. They don't make money off of people that are spot on and doing well, that are doing it, that are out there swinging a hammer, wrenching a pipe, fixing an engine, being healthy, running around the track, running up the trails, going hiking. They don't make money off of those people that eat good, that eat decent, tasteful, natural food. Natural food's gone. Even the GMO food, even the organic stuff you're buying isn't guaranteed that it's organic, by the way. Got to go to the Amish store now. You got to go to the Amish stores. You got to go straight to the farmer, and ask the farmer, what are you putting to protect your crops? And they're going to say nothing. There might be a couple bug bites on it, but if the bugs aren't eating it, then you probably shouldn't eat it either. That's what my grandfather taught me as a farmer. If the bugs aren't trying to eat it, then you probably shouldn't eat it. Tell me that doesn't make sense. Right? That fucking makes great sense. So we used to get lettuce I remember I used to get lettuce that you had to wash out and a couple bugs would fly. I remember that. Right? And we're just, that's just the way it is. That's the way you got your lettuce. You knew that was real. You knew that it had nutrients. Right? You know that if you bought the tomato, it had a bug bite here or something. Right? But it doesn't hurt you. It's washed off. You can always clean your vegetables and your fruits. Right? The majority of the time, they were just solid, right? I mean, I bought some peaches from Walmart the other day. And I bit into that peach, and it was like air. There was no taste to it. There was nothing. It was like, I kind of got a hint of a peach, but it lacked in flavor. Now, I remember when I was a kid on my grandparents' farm, and we didn't use pesticides, and we didn't use this and that. We had a couple peach trees. We had fig, peach, lemon, oranges. Mainly, we had avocados. We had walnut. We had plums. We had apples, definitely apple trees, tangerine, grapefruit, all kinds of different fruits. And then we had a little side garden that I always worked on. But that peach tree and that plum tree and those trees that I used to eat off of, and even in the area of some and everybody else that was growing at those times, in the early 70s, late 80s, and parts of the 90s, that fruit had taste. Man, I used to bite into one of those peaches from the farm. We call it the farm. And it was just, man, your cheeks would swell up. This rush of like joy and jubilation would come into your mouth. And you just felt fully energized and refreshed by that single bite. Just the nutrients was amazing, right? Kind of like that scene in Avatar when Scully takes that fruit, eats it for the first time. But in this particular case, that freaking peach is shit. I know it's shit. All of it's shit. It's all wrong. It's all, and some of it comes from Mexico. Most of the fruits and vegetables that you're getting out there that go to Walmart are coming from overseas. Some of it's coming from China. Fuck. China will they'll sell, it's less money for Walmart to buy bulk fruit and vegetables and certain items from other countries than it is to get it from here, because gas here is $1 bazillion. Do you guys see how that works? Right? Yeah, this is just getting out of control. This is just getting totally out of control. It's ass backwards. So as I've always said, the nothing's getting better. It is getting worse. We're waiting for Trump or Vivek or or whoever to fix everything. I'm not counting DeSantis out. I know you guys want to talk about all the mainstream media saying he's this and that, the other thing, but man, he's the first guy that came out and said no CBDC. He's the first guy. Central bank digital currency. He was, yes. Every fucking Republican governor out there was all in regards to the masks, the lockdowns, and all this other shit. Everybody. They were all fucking fooled. Fauci and his team had everybody fucking fooled. Like, even I was fooled for a little bit. And then about a month later, and it was mid-April, that I just started asking these questions, and I started looking up information, and I started finding out, wait a second. There's 250,000 plus 260 about fast food restaurants that use a credit card or money, and germs can be transferred on credit cards and money. And then these people didn't have personal protective equipment, gloves or masks, because some of their gloves were breaking. I mean, I went to McDonald's, a few other fast food restaurants where these guys, there were tears and some of their fingers are sticking out of their gloves. And they don't wash their hands with Puree after every transaction. So after you get somebody's debit card that they slid between their ass or, licked with their mouth or something, then they hand it to somebody else. Who knows what they did? Bite their nose and then they grab their fucking credit card. How many times does that happen? Right? I'm looking into all this, and I, got with some state legislators, and they couldn't really answer my question. And then my concern that was out there was printed in the paper, and I'm going to get that. I think Stevie may have saved it, but I couldn't find it. But anyway, I'm going to get that paper, because what that clearly indicated is I was asking fucking questions. Right? I hate to be a little harsh on that, because I was fucking just going, it just doesn't seem right. There's just too much, too fast, too forceful. And I was right. And then I did more research, and towards the end of 2020, I had some people on, and we were talking on my probably my second or third YouTube channel, because my first had already been taken down. The COVID Stone series, which they didn't like. And the thing is I started asking, I started putting myself in the billionaire shoes. What is their end game here? If we know Klaus Schwab, Yuval Harari, Bill Gates, Rothschild's heirs, monarchs, Blair, and all these rich gazillionaires, right, out there, and there's some you don't even know. There's people that you have no idea what their names are. what is their end game? I was trying to figure out their end game. So I started putting the pieces together, and then I found their website and I started to put their website information together. And the biggest word I found in their website was corporate governance. They were putting corporate governance everywhere. It's still up there. Look it up. Go to the worldeconomicforum.com, whatever, or org, and look at that and what that stands for. And then I started digging deeper and started to see their cycles or their circular um, PowerPoint displays of how and who and how things are going to move and get done. And the deeper I dug and the more information I was looking for, which I was starting to, and I gotten a hold of uh, James Covert, James Covert, what the fuck is this show? The Colbert report. Just amazing information. He's known this shit for a long time. Then I got familiar with G. Edward Griffin, and then I started seeing some really good information coming out from uh, Whitney Webb for sure, and also which I had been following Whitney Webb prior to that for like a year or so prior to that. She's come up with some good stuff, and then she kind of introduced me following the Last Vagabond, Ryan Christian. Just some really interesting information coming from that too. And then I'd already been listening to Combo Couch and Jimmy Dore and stuff like that, but they weren't there yet. Hardlands Media wasn't even fucking close, right? And this is like mid 2020. Jimmy Dore was completely wrong about fucking everything until he finally took a second, Kool-Aid insertion. And then he was ill for a while. And then he started asking the right questions. Then his clarity and courage started to really open up. But there was a lot of people that weren't with me at all. There were tons of people that had not even jumped on board with this yet. There were some that used to come on Montauk that were all about fuck the big pharma, fuck the government, fuck this and this and that. And also this, Fluvid-19 came out and they just flipped. It was just amazing to watch. And I understood what their position was and I understood how they were thinking. But the thing I was telling them is don't take it. Don't take the Mary, Roger, Nancy, Alpha Kool-Aid. Do not take that. And I was warning my family, and I was just there's we don't have studies. The biggest question, the biggest concern was, and it still baffles my mind that people can't comprehend this, is everything you have until that day that the FDA puts out, the CBDC puts out, you can literally and absolutely, with your constitutional rights, sue for any problems, any issues, any health or bad effects, side effects, right? But not with this, not with the Melinda robbing, never applicable Kool-Aid, right? You can't. It's completely indemnified. And that was like the biggest that's like a red flag that wraps the globe and nobody saw it or over them. It's like your carpet being in red. It's like your walls being painted red. It was all over around me, but nobody else. There was, so 75%, 78%, 80% or whatever of the people in this across the globe got suckered in. And they took it. They took it. Some people didn't know. Some people just were listening to other people and stuff like that. But G. Edward Griffin is probably the most compelling of information because he's been after. He's been on top of this New World Order agenda for decades, right? You know, even before Klaus Schwab created the World Economic Forum in 1970, and the UN was created just after, NATO was created just after all the Third Reich, or the Nazi regime, had disbanded. But a lot of those people that were in that went there with NATO. And people didn't even realize that. So, yeah, it's just, yeah, a lot of people didn't fucking listen. I spent $100 trying to warn Jimmy not to take it. A lot of people tried. You know, my channel just kept getting taken down. Every time I was making a point on how redundant or hypocritical or how idiotic something would be, like blatantly in your face, you know, and then saying anything to the effect of something being dangerous or wrong, or it actually being a genocidal bioweapon, which everybody still believes it is the flu, is still amazing to me. And they're still pushing that. They're still pushing that. Everybody's still pushing that that's the real killer. Oh, you can say that all day long. I can say that COVID-19 is a terrible human killer, murdering thing. I can say that all day long. But once I say that the maniacal, racist, nonsensical application, just take the first letters of all those, you know, solution that they created at warp speed, when most of them take 10 or 15 years to produce, had already been created by them. I think it was already set up to be submitted and sent out. Isn't that crazy? And all of a sudden, wow, there it is. That's what we need, one of those. But it's different. It's not like your typical, you know, mercury crap that you get in your regular flu. And what's weird is I usually got a flu shot, right? I always took my safe and effective flu shot, like once every 2 or 3 years. I just always took one. I took one in 2019 in November. I can probably get you the proof of that if you ever want to see it. And I'm not an anti-vaxxer. I'm not. I think there are some things out there that are helpful in regards to pure science, not compromised science. There's a difference. You know, and I got one. It didn't. My arm was sore for like a minute or two, like a day. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, things aren't getting as good as I'd like them to be. And if you think right now, let's just I want to just say the perspective. Let's get to the perspective of everyone. And I think that's important because we need to see how people are thinking. Because I'm seeing people thinking that Trump's evil, that I'm seeing people think that Trump's a crook, and I'm seeing people thinking that Trump's this god-awful, disgusting human being who grabs pussy, which I grab pussy. I love pussy. Yeah, I miss that. I miss pussy. It's fun. But the thing is that's all you got? That's all you got? Because everything else has been proven wrong. Right? Everything else has been proven wrong. Your mind is so that it's not by accident. They do this on purpose. They paint and create this, and you went for it already because you believe that Fluvid was this heinous, terrible monster. And they're still painting it, and some people are still going along with it, even on the anti-vax side, which is very surprising and kind of revealing to me. We're just we're seeing people that I've questioned. So you hate him because what? Well, he did this and this. I go, well, that's been proven, and even MSNBC, CNN, PBS had already shown that that wasn't the case. So what else do you got? Well, he did this. Um, well, no, that's not the case because everybody's already proven and it's documented in the video and blah 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 blah. And he's been impeached. I go, on what term? What was the reasoning for it? Did he get a full impeachment, or was it just because there's a difference between an impeachment and you're kicked out, and there's a difference between an impeachment or like a ticket. And indictments too are just traffic tickets, right? You can always fight a traffic ticket. Okay, so this, and people say, well, he's been indicted 4 times. I go, so did those indictments come to a full and complete conviction? Like, what are you talking about? So they don't know. There's a lot of people that just don't even understand the science. They don't understand the science. It's terrible. I'm going on break. Coming back. All right. All right. You just, I'm just watching Jimmy Dore today talk out. He had two little segments on Klaus Schwab. I'm like, I put in there, and I, you know, like I kind of was getting to before, is these people, when you're, I've seen their mentality. I've been to Bel Air parties. I've been to Beverly Hills parties. I've been to Newport Coast parties. I've been to, some pretty, high up there. And these people, the richer they are, the more desensitized they are. What that means is they just want more. I was watching a guy, and I like watching poker, not video poker. I like watching poker on YouTube. Texas Hold'em, Negrano, and all these guys. But I also like watching some of the slot players. It's kind of fun to watch how they win. Some people are putting like $10 a spin, $20 a spin. Coming up with like $5,000 or winning $20,000. This one guy was betting $1,125 each spin, and he spent $280,000 in a matter of like 2 hours. Dumped it in this machine and walked away with $160,000. Like nothing. He was a little worried, but he's not even close to what these people are. He's probably a hardworking, whatever he does, realtor. I'm not sure fucking what this guy does. But he's got a YouTube channel. It's kind of funny just watching him. And these people are in that. These people that are at this status are so fucking far gone. Quick break. These people, once you're a billionaire, you can take $1 billion and wipe it with your ass. They don't need you anymore. Why would I need employees or an income when I have $1 billion? I could live off of the interest for the rest of my life, and a bunch of other people could live with me. I could have servants and maids and hookers, whatever. But which I've never got a hooker in my life. That's really interesting. Yeah, I've never paid for sex. I've never paid for sex in my life. Yeah, I don't think I need to, honestly. But, and I'm not, trying to put notches on my belt, because there is somebody out there that I think, for everybody, there's going to be somebody that you can trust and count on, and, kind of has, actually has your back, and that is, has integrity and honesty and this, tough stuff to find these days. But these people, these Pedo Predator Class people, they don't need your money anymore. They don't need your labor. They don't need you. Their goal right now, their bottom line, their end game, is to take down at least 2/3 of the planet's population. As hard as this is to understand and comprehend, which it is, because I've told a few people about this, and they're just like, what? Isn't that for... No, they don't fucking... Once they have central bank digital currency set up, You think they fucking need your money? Because they'll be the ones in control of all the money, all the currency. It's not even currency. It's just digits, numbers, transactions. It's just code. They don't fucking need you. That's their goal. And they want to hoard the rest of this planet for themselves. You're totally expendable to them. Everybody. I don't care how high on the totem pole or any totem pole you think you're on, whether you work for Google or Twitter or Facebook or whatever the case may be. You know, I'm sure Mark Zuckerberg has a fucking giant prepper hotel underneath the ground, you know, luxury place. Maybe Bill Gates does too. Tony Blair, the guy from Virgin, whatever, has, what the fuck is his name? Yeah, I'm sure they all fucking do. You know, there's a guy in one of my videos that says there's about 200 of these people, right? There's about 200 of them. They're all in on this. They're all in. They don't give a fuck. That's their end game. And what I can't understand is why there's so many on the Democrat side, mostly on the Democrat, some on the Republican, that think they got a place or they got a clone or they got whatever set up for them. And they really believe they really believe that they've got their back, that these pedo predator class motherfucking sick bastards have their back, and that they've got a suite laid out for them and their escape arc, or you know, like the movie 2012 where they have these big giant escape arcs. Remember with John, what the fuck is his name? Not Stamos. Anyway, with John Cusack, right? And the movie 2012 or Underground, wherever, they don't have it. They don't have you in their minds. I don't care how high you think you are in the military or how high you think you are in the Senate or the House or whatever. You're not on their list. They're not on your list. They'll have their robots. They'll have their implanted people with cyber technology that will do whatever they want them to do. They've already got the shit set up, and you're not part of it. You're not part of it. So if you're going in this direction, especially the Democrats, which really fucking, I'm trying to let them know that they don't fucking get it. You know, I'm trying to warn them that, you know, so you're a community guidelines expert at Google, right? Or YouTube or whatever. And you're starting to pay attention to, you know, G. Edward Griffin, Brian Christian, James Corbett, Whitney Webb, you know, and you listen to Jimmy Dormore, Combo Couch, you know, some positive people that kind of get what's going on out there. And then you listen to my show, you know, my 7th channel, and go, why is this guy so fucking persistent? Why is this guy continually just, we keep taking him down, he keeps coming back? What is his fucking problem? Well, my problem is all of us. All of us is my problem. I don't want to be, and if you've ever seen the series, The Twilight Zone, there's this one guy, Mr. Finkelstein or whatever he is, he's glasses, and he's the last person after this giant nuclear attack or whatever. He's the last person on Earth, right? And he's got nobody, right? He's probably the richest man in the world because there's nobody else on the planet. But he's alone. You know, and I don't want people to be you to have other people that give you purpose. You know, what gives you purpose is this, whether you think or not, is, and whether you're doing it religiously or whatever. But there's a confirmation that happens. It satiates you. It gives you an accolade, in a sense, in your mind that you're doing something for the actual majority good, right? Not the greater good. That's been used in very bad ways. But the people that are there for you, like for me, my family, my friends, my neighbors, you know, my community, my city, my town. Try this in a fucking small town, motherfucker. My state, my county, my country, you know, my fellow Homo sapien human beings across the planet that I love to interact with. You know, people of different cultures, different languages, different colors, different characters. Just, it's wonderful. This has been the way it's been since the dawn of time. I want my kids to have that opportunity and to be free about doing it. I want them and their kids and so on and so forth to have that. That's why I'm not just doing this for Jimmy, right? I would like to see better gas prices, you know, and I'd like to see fucking the Biden administration definitely go down, because they're completely compromised with these Pedo Predator Class fuckers. You know, that's where they get their orders from. Joe Biden just said recently, I need to follow these orders. He's actually stated that. The President of the United States has said on many occasions, and it's written, of what he's supposed to do. And that's probably pretty common. I think Obama was very a puppet as well. And who knows if Trump is, but I think Trump is more free spirited. And he's not linked in any bloodline and all this other shit. But the point I'm making in regards to the reason why I keep pushing and keep keeping these channels up is I give a fuck about you. Maybe we disagree right now, right? Maybe we, you know, but I want you to be able to live your life with peace, freedom, and a good livelihood. I want you to be able to reach for the stars, you know, with nothing in your way, you know, be as American Idol fucking popular as you want, or be a great lawyer or an engineer or a doctor, or, you know, just, you know, a farmer, whatever you want to fucking be. Construction worker, plumber, electrician, you know, without people limiting you or putting barriers around your success, right? Which kind of got us in this place in the first place. You know, like I talked about Citizens United. Citizens United is terrible. That was terrible. Yeah. You know, the income inequality compared to other countries is like the worst is like 54 to 1, 30 to 1, the ratio, right? And how, but in the United States, the income inequality is 457, I think. It's like 450, 470, I don't know. It's just some huge fucking terrible number to 1. So instead of what it used to be, like 20 to 1 or 10 to 1 difference from a CEO or from a management position, et cetera, now it's totally different. It's terrible. So there's a lot of things that need to be fixed. And I think we can agree on that. You know, people can agree on that. But let's just look at the bottom line of where these fucking people want to do. It's the toughest pill to fucking swallow. It's hard to realize. It's extremely, extremely tough to wrap your head around that there are a handful of fucking people controlling the rest of the planet, planet's politicians and world leaders, promising them the world of whatever the fuck sick shit they want. And they're fucking they're at their beck and call. It's crazy. Like, I'm out in the wide open country lands of Missouri. There's a farm over here and a farm over there, a little town over here, a little town. And all these people want is just to be able to prosper, to have a decent life for their kids to go to school and learn a trade or a profession, right? And for them to pass down their farm or their knowledge to them and for them to continue on. That's it. But that's not going to happen with this. We will put you where you need to be. We will make sure that you have what we tell you to do. That's it. I mean, you couldn't have a better Dr. Evil type villainous character than freaking Klaus Schwab. It's perfect. Perfect. And people are just listening to him. He's allowed to go into G20 now. He's allowed to go to G7. He's allowed. So when he said that we've penetrated the governments in about 3,000 political leaders, wasn't bullshit. They're in. They need to be out. The World Economic Forum needs to be totally dismantled and taken down as a complete and absolute domestic and international terrorist group. Anybody associated with them should and absolutely be, or any NGO associated with them, any company associated should be investigated thoroughly for their participation or their contributions to this terrorist group. They're the biggest, most lethal terrorist organization on the planet. What was think of any villainous, James Bond or Mission Impossible, fucking, the Expendables or whoever, or Austin Powers, villainous groups out there or labels. That's them. They are that. They are it. They are the ones. They need to. It's somewhat of a metaphor, but at the same time, it's the symbol of them. Their symbolism is wrong. Their system, their practices, their processes, their planned agendas and futures don't include you. But they don't include you. You're not in the equation. You're not part of that team. You may think you are. You may agree with Greta Thunberg, which is just the biggest fucking scam on the planet. And I was in all that. I was on the fucking Green Party. We're all about eco-socialism, but nobody could fucking understand the first one. And I found out they were full of shit and they were just part of their plan. The Green Party is terrible. It's just, they were all for the masks and the mandates and the fucking lockdowns and all this other shit. Hormel West is just clueless. I don't know what fucking, car this guy is, or tire he's underneath a rock. It just, yeah, that the Green Party is the biggest, most giant waste of time ever. And then fucking Robert F. Kennedy Jr. goes with the Democratic Party, which he knew was going to do anything in their power, legally, illegally, by force, by murder, by whatever they could, to to stop him, right? So now he's debating whether he wants to go independent or whatever, but he picked the fucking wrong party, right? See, here's the difference. So the Republicans, they are more constitutionalized or constitutionalists by far than the Democrats. Let's throw that card on the table because it's pretty apparent now. It's like a fucking billboard. And the problem that he's having is to do whatever they can to take this fucker down. So he chose wrong. But the Republicans would at least give him a chance. They would at least said, hey, you can go to the debate. Right? Right? For fuck's sakes. That was stupid. Anyway, the reason why I'm doing all the fuck. Not any money. Got a couple of donations here and there. Good buddy of mine sent me a little chunk. I appreciate that. A couple people have sent me this and that. That's okay. It helps keep the lights on. I appreciate everything that everybody does to help my channel. Like, subscribe. Whatever that really does anymore. Who fucking knows. I know I'm shadow banned pretty much everywhere because they don't like the fact that I know their end game. They hate that. This guy knows. This guy fucking knows what our end game is. We need him gone. Now. We can't have this fucker exposing what our fucking end game is. And I do. That's it. That's the fucking end game. Depopulate 2/3 of the planet, hoard the rest for themselves. Pretty simple. If you don't think that's the case, leave a comment and I'll prove it to you. Aloha, thank you for being here. This is James of Montauk. Aloha.